This is the commentary version of my portfolio. You'll be presented with a selection of my recent works, and I hope you enjoy. A business card transition I made in Blender. A 3D printed light cube box of my business logo. This is my bar robot. This is one of the first times we got it working with or the cup removing sensor. So it drops the cup, it moves it on to dispense ice, and then it goes on to dispense however many shots it's needed to for that drink. And then obviously it refills the shot. And then it pumps in the mixer. But then the cool part is that when you take the cup off, it starts the next drink in the queue. So you could automate the process. My plan is to put a glass panel in the front, case it all up, and then have it as this experiential thing. This is a Blender render for a product that me and my business partner came up with. A render I made demonstrating the capabilities of our rail system. More 3D printed cubes of my business logo. A weight tree I designed myself and laser cut. Our innovative latch mechanism on an early version of our rail system. This is the early days of teaching myself projection mapping and what it can do and the software. This is from one of my first outings using projection mapping. This is from a DJ set. It was definitely cool because I've never really seen anybody do projection mapping in a live DJ set. This is one of my first CNC projects, a tequila holder. These are my laser engraved business cards. This is one of the early versions of my XYZ website. This is experimenting with diode lasers and painted business cards. The render for business cards. A custom-made storage solution for Ryobi tools on the right and left. One of my first times making a mold and pretty much getting my hands stuck, but it was an awesome experience and definitely a learning experience. Very fun. Here's the start of the mold making process for a medical device and getting ready to pour for the mold. And then the resin from that hand mold that I made. And then 2 of them. And yeah, this for a medical device showcase. They're going to be showing off some low-cost medical devices they made, and they asked me to help them design some really cool ways to show off their product. And so this is my first time ever doing resin and stuff like that and epoxy. So yeah, it was cool. Got to learn a lot and see what it can do. Here's some World Design Capital work I did. Making a puzzle game for innovators at a conference to try to solve together as teams, to come together to form these challenges. The showcase for those medical devices. Those are the epoxy resin hands and chests that I made. This is one of the UIs I've designed for an app. I'd gotten asked to teach second graders about waves, so this was demonstrating them the effects of different wave formations and the powerful effects of waves and stuff like that. So these are some wave box I designed so we could do some different experiments. This is a metal bar mat I plasma cut. The cutouts are actually my logo, and so it makes like this grid pattern out of my logo. It's kind of cool. So this was a fun project. This was designing my own MIDI map controlled software that was linked over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, all controlled together seamlessly. It was pretty complex, but it was cool when it all came together like that. It was a link between my DJ board, my projector, my software. And this is the projection mapping. This is what I was teaching myself and learning. And it's kind of cool because there's very few people in the world that actually do projection mapping. So finding any information on this was really difficult. So it was definitely a trial by process and error for sure. But this is some cool effects I got to do with projection mapping, which is basically taking a 2D projector and then wrapping that image around 3D objects. And so this is for DJing specifically, this effect right here. I could have it going to like the beat of the song, for example. And so that's what the previous video was, the MIDI map controlling. I could tap along to the beat of a song, or it could recognize the beat of a song and automatically go to that in time. This is mounting that metal bar mat that I plasma cut. This is more of that projection mapping stuff, just early days of learning it. These are laser cut or laser etched glasses I made. This is a wooden speaker stand. I needed to be a specific height, and those are the speaker stands. It's for DJ monitors. This is posters I made for my business that we put up around downtown. It's a laser metal business card that I cut, the back of it. Again, it's metal laser cut. These are little keychains I designed for my business. This is my website for Evobotics. So using splines and stuff, we can have these really cool interactions and fun stuff where we have lighting and local lighting and stuff like that, and movement on the website. I love to go all out, kind of, for really small or weird things. This is for a party of probably ended up being 20 people, and I set up a whole projection mapping system. You see it there. So yeah, I love to just go big all the time, have fun. This business meeting set up for photo day. This is making a really large XYZ cube out of metal, or out of wooden 3D printed supports. Designing our business cards, laser cutting the stencil for our posters, the laser cut stencil poster, the spray painted first part of those ones we were laying on. This is a Gridfinity holder I made for my bathroom to hold a bunch of my toiletries and such. It's modular, so as I get different stuff, I can change out the pieces. That's a vinyl I cut out. This is for making a sign. That's the metal I plasma cut. Then vinyl cut a lotus out of black and white vinyl, and then made a metal sign. That's a vinyl cut XYZ that I vinyl cut. This is leading a design thinking workshop at the design lab at UCSD. This is another workshop that I help lead. This is teaching myself how to embroider for the first time. This is a setup I had in my sophomore year in college dorm because I love sound. This is wiring up my first electric skateboard that I built. Here's the wiring loom that I made. I wanted it to be orange, thought it was cool. This is the beginnings of modern art that I started to design. So you'll see in a second what the modern art looks like, but I got inspired by, I don't even know what, but I've seen some stuff like this before. But this is my take on modern art. So designed it in CAD, which is very up my alley, and then laser cut it, which I love. 3D printing a little protector box for my electronics for my skateboard. Another shot of my hub wheels that I have from my direct drive skateboard that I made. This is one of the early versions of our robotic slider. Testing it in our classroom floor. Love it. That's awesome. This is DJing at a high school freshman, sophomore rooftop dance. So that's my projection mapping again. This is some of the freshmen or the sophomores. We did 2 different nights. This is a Gridfinity espresso holder I made. This is 2-tone or 2-color printing of my logo. This is lithophanes. These are really cool. So this is white when there's no light behind it, and then you can see the picture when there's light behind it. This is a racing simulator I built and 2 of my business partners in VR. This is my business homepage for XYZ. This is a case I designed for these chips for this Freelap system, which is a timing system for track, but these chips cost like $300 or $400, so I have to protect them. And I made the case the same color as the product and stuff. And then the inside is made out of TPU, so I made a gasket in there, and it protects the chips really well, so it's squishy in there, so it's impact resistant. This is a wooden DJ case I made for my DJ board, with internal wiring and stuff, so I can just plug in everything to the side. It looks super tidy, because usually there's a bunch of cables coming out the back. This is the posters we put up in downtown during Innovation Weekend in downtown. This is that lithophane. This is laser cutting a picture, or laser engraving a picture of it. This is my bar robot working outside. Early version of it again. Or, well, this is after a lot of prototyping. This stuff is not easy. But dispensing the shot, filling it with ice, putting the mixer. This is a vodka cranberry. This is a sign I made for the design lab. The design challenge was it couldn't be permanently mounted to the wall, but it had to be able to stay up there for years. So we had to test so many different materials that we could CNC because they had to be cut perfectly. It had to be pro looking, but we had to basically use command strips. That was what we were allowed to use. So this was, and we were only allowed to, once we finished the prototypes, we had basically like a week to build it. So that was exciting. But once we got it done, it's sick, and it's been up there for like 2 years now already. But yeah, that was super fun. And that was the first project I worked on my business partner with. This is experimenting with pumps and soda, because soda and pumps don't go well together, I've learned, because of the carbonation and the bubbles. This is a vinyl wrapped license plate I made for my dad's Lotus. This is a Gridfinity organization system for my tool chest. Another shot of my racing simulator that I built. It has wind simulation, rumbles, gear shift simulation, VR. It's got everything. This is a trophy I made for a workshop we led. This is a laser cut coaster. This is a pattern for my plasma cut metal bar mat for my bar robot. The wood was the template, and then this was the final. This is more of that MIDI control software that I developed to be able to control Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Thank you if you watched it all the way till the end. As you can see, I like to make a lot of stuff and try a lot of different things and just experiment and learn and try to create things that didn't exist. And I don't know where it's all going to lead, but it's going to lead somewhere eventually. The convergence is going to happen, but yeah, until that happens, there's lots more experimenting and playing. When I'm in that play state, it's awesome. And this is some of the most fun I've had is working on some of these projects. So thank you for enjoying and what I get to enjoy in.